In today's video, we are going to be looking at the true crime story of Malika Abba, the woman who claimed to be God Almighty. Malika Abba is known as a sheer terror and resides on Alafia Street by Isolo Road Junction in Mushi, Lagos State, in the southwestern part of Nigeria, where she holds what I call an absolute control over her followers and worshippers, while simultaneously casting a shadow of gloom and doom upon the neighborhood. As at the time I watched her clip then, she had about 800 to 1,000 worshippers, but as it stands today, I do not know how many worshippers are still under her overpowering influence. Malika Abba, whose real name is Olayinka Oladi Pupo, was based at Okemoni at Isiwo Ijebu in Ogun State. She was born in the same house in Mushi where she declared herself to be a god. As a young lady, she got married and had 4 kids. 3 of her kids have all died and she's left with only 1 daughter. Her church has been described to look like the cherubim and seraphim. Her own church is named New Jerusalem Church and located around Alafia Junction in Mushi, Lagos State, Nigeria. Its services are laced with fast-paced songs, members wearing colorful robes, all singing and praises of the almighty and all-knowing Malika Abba. In fact, her church congregation were literally worshipping her after she proclaimed herself as God. Malika Abba is still very much alive and is still running her church with a strong grip on her followers and worshippers. She is also accused of sleeping with her church members, especially the male. She commands them to sleep with her and they always obey her command. She has no doubt in her mind as she makes the shocking claim that she is God, and this same statement she made very clear in an interview with Kola Olawunyi. Watch the interview and hear for yourself.
Malaika Abba, tí mo wà ní Mushi.
Ìtòrí tẹ́ kí ń pera ní Malaika mo rò pé.
Torí pé mo jẹ́ Ọlọ́run alààyè.
Ẹ̀yin gangan lọ́lọ́run.
Èmi gangan ni Ọlọ́run alààyè. Ọba tó mọ gbogbo tó sì ń ṣe gbogbo. Èmi ni ìbẹ̀rẹ̀ àti òpin. Èmi ni mò ń sọ àti ayé àtọ̀run mi títì. Èmi ni gbogbo yìí máa jẹ́yìn fún ní ọjọ́ ìkẹyìn. Èmi Malaika Abba tí mo jókòó yìí náà.
Òpó ọ̀run ló yẹ kẹ́ ẹ wà ní.
Níwọ̀n ìgbà tí mo dá ọ̀run, mo dá ayé, ayé jẹ́ pálọ̀ mi. Èrè mi ń pálọ̀ mi kí n má jókòó. Ayé is my pálọ̀. Ọ̀run ni mò ń gbé. Ọ̀run mo ti ń dábìrà. Mo wà láyé, mo wà lọ́run bí ìgbà mi ti ń ṣiṣẹ́.
Ó ṣe ajá lòdì sí mi mo gbọ̀n pé yọ̀ọ̀yọ̀ ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ náà ni.
Ẹ sọ pé ẹni tó dá yín láwòrán rẹ̀, ó lè jẹ́ kó náà wà nínú ayé, kó máa ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń ṣe, kó máa bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ń gbádùn. Ẹni tó bẹ̀ ní pé máa bí sí, máa rẹ̀ sí. Ó ń dandan nígbà tí ẹjọ́ ti pọ̀ jù. Ilé ni wọ́n pa òun, ọ̀la wọn ni wọ́n pa òun, ilé àwọn afẹ́jọ́ wá sùn. Jẹ́ kí mi náà wá wo nǹkan tó ń ṣe ń bẹ̀.
Ìgbó lè wá délé ayé ńgbà ó lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní wá dáyé wò.
Mo ti ń délé ayé kí wọ́n tó dá ayé, mo ti wà nínú ayé, mo ti ń fi ayé wò. Kì í tó wá níwọ̀nba ọjọ́ tí mo wá yìí.
Ọ̀dà ìgbà táwọn òbí bí mo mọ̀ pé kì í ṣe Malaika wọn sọ ní kí lórúkọ gangan tán.
Mo ní Ọláyínká ni mò ń jẹ́. Ọláyínká Ọláyínká.
Àwọn wo lò bí yín bo ni wọ́n bí yín sí?
Wọ́n bí mi sí ibi inú ilé náà bí mi sí. Ṣùgbọ́n gbogbo ìyá mi, bàbá mi ti kú. Ìyá mi wà lókè mọ́ mi.
Ṣùgbọ́n Ọlọ́run èyí kú lẹ́yìn òun nígbàgbọ́ pé ilé òun ṣaláìsí ń dọ́kan.
Ẹ kó dìgbà náà fún Ọlọ́run bá kí ń kú, Ọlọ́run bá ń kú kó dìgbà náà. Ṣùgbọ́n mi ò tiẹ̀ ní kú.
Ẹ jẹ́ nìyẹn ní.
Mi ò tiẹ̀ ní kú, mi lè jẹ́ ọkọ ní kú. Gbogbo ayé á fi mí sí lákè mi nìkan bí mo ṣe máa wà náà rìn. Tí n bá kúrò ní kọ́lọ̀ yìí, máa di òyìnbó. Tí n bá di òyìnbó tán, máa di òfurufú yẹn, máa paradà. Kò wá ní sí ọkọ mọ́ ju ojú yìí nìkan lọ.
ẹ ti rí irú ẹ̀ rí náà.
ṣebí àlàfíà mi máa fi ara mi dá àti bá wù mí ni máa fi ara mi dá.
káìlẹ̀ yẹn wà á jábọ̀.
mo bá jábọ̀ fúnra mi náà ni.
ẹ̀yin lọ lọ́rùn.
èmi ní ọlọ́run alààyè lọ wá mi kó mọ̀ mí. ìwọ fún ara ẹ̀ tó bá kò mí lẹ́nu lọ wá mi kó béèrè mi níbikíbi tó ti lè wá mi wá mi.
mo lè rò pé mo ti lè wá yín.
òbí tó ti lè wá mi kò síbi tí yóò sí nínú gbogbo nǹkan ni mo wà tó gbogbo nǹkan ṣe ọwọ́ mi.
ẹ̀yin lè dókun àtọ́sà.
èmi wà fún ẹ̀sìn mo wá ṣe fàájì mi mo lè máa mú ìwà ẹ̀wọ̀n èèyàn dání. èmi mo dá òkun mo dá ọ̀sà èmi gbogbo ọlọ́run forí balẹ̀ fún tí wọ́n ké mímọ́ mímọ́ ẹ má sọ̀rọ̀ ní iwájú ẹ̀. èmi gbogbo ìwáyé èèyàn kò ṣẹ̀yìn mi ìlọ ènìyàn kò ṣe ẹ̀yìn mi. ìbí kúrékùré náà ni èmi náà ni ọkùnrin èmi náà ni obìnrin.
dídí ẹ̀ ni wọ́n fi ń pè yín ní bàbá.
nítorí ìdí ẹ̀ ni wọ́n pè mí bàbá èmi lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mi lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ pè mí ní bàbá. àwọn aláàta tí wọ́n rí ìrànlọ́ ni pé kò kí ń ṣe obìnrin bàbá ni kẹ́ máa pè mí lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ mi lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ pè mí ní bàbá. aláàta àwọn mùsùlùmí gan-an tiẹ̀ jẹ́ àwọn mùsùlùmí náà jẹ́ pé bàbá ni kì í ṣe obìnrin bàbá ni kẹ́ máa pè mí.
ṣùgbọ́n ẹ bímọ.
mo bímọ.
ọmọ mélòó lọ bí.
nígbà tí wọ́n á ti sí mo bí mẹ́rin okùn ẹyọ kan.
sílẹ̀ ti bímọ.
bẹ́ẹ̀.
ìwọlé ọkọ tẹ́ ẹ fi bímọ.
mo wọlé ọkọ mo fẹ́ ọkọ ilẹ̀ bímọ.
ọkọ yín wá ń kọ́.
ọkọ mi wà.
ẹ̀yin lè dá ọkọ yín náà.
èmi náà ni mo dà mí náà mo dá wọn kò tó sọ̀rọ̀ lọ́wọ́.
kì í ṣe ẹ̀yin lè dá yìí. bẹ́ẹ̀ ni.
ẹ má bínú.
ọlọ́run ló dá mi.
ẹ̀mí náà lọ lọ́run tí mo dá yín.
kò ní ò tí ì rọ́lọ́run rí.
ẹ wá ní ìṣó pé nísìn tó bá nígbà tí o wá bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ mi wàá wo ibikíbi tó o bá mọ̀ tó lè fi wà mọ́ fi wà ṣé o pé ẹni tó bá ń parọ́ fún ẹ ó yẹ kí ẹ̀rí ọba Jésù lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀.
ẹ̀mú sọ̀rọ̀ Màláíkà ṣé bíbélì lẹ̀ ń lò ní àbí Kùránì.
kò sí ọkàn tí mò ń lò.
ẹ nígbàgbọ́ nínú bíbélì.
èmi náà dá méjèèjì àti mùsùlùmí àti kírísítẹ̀n.
ẹsẹ̀ wo ló fìdí ẹ̀ múlẹ̀ nínú bíbélì pé ẹ̀yin ni Ọlọ́run.
ẹ bá wa ẹsẹ̀ mi.
tó jẹ́ kí n wá kì í tiẹ̀ ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ ẹni tó bá wọn kálukú ló lè pe ara ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe lẹ́yìn lọ́lọ́run àwọn tí ó bá ń wò wá tó bá gbàgbọ́ ló gbàgbọ́ èyí tí ó sì gbàgbọ́ tó mọ Ọlọ́run.
ìgbà gbogbo ayé ò tiẹ̀ gbàgbọ́
ẹ̀mí ọ̀gbàgbọ́.
wàá gbàgbọ́ nígbà tó bá yá.
nígbà wo ni màá gbàgbọ́.
ìwọ fi yẹn lẹ̀ wàá gbàgbọ́ nígbà tó bá yá. nǹkan tí yóò jẹ kò lè pè é láláyé pé òun jẹ tó bá jẹ òun àti Ọlọ́run àjọ wọ.
Ọlọ́run mélòó ló wà.
èmi nìkan náà ló wà.
ẹ tí ìrẹ́ni kankan bèrè lọ́wọ́ nínú irú pé ẹ̀bẹ̀rẹ̀ yín lọ́lọ́run.
kò sẹ́ni tó lè bèrè lọ́mì tí mi ní dá lóhùn torí pé tí máa jẹ́ síkírá màá ní síkírá lórúkọ mi.
ẹ bá sì ń dọ́lọ́run. ṣé nàìjíríà lẹ́kọ́ lọ́run ṣe ni àbí orúkọ ní gan.
orúkọ mi gangan ni Olódùmarè. ìwọ́n tí mi náà pera yín bẹ́ẹ̀ ẹ̀yin náà sọ pé iná jẹ́ kò tí mi náà jẹ́ ìgbọ́ tí mo pera mi yẹn ẹ sọ pé iná ń jẹ bẹ́ẹ̀.
ẹ rò bẹ́ẹ̀ ń bá pera ẹ̀ lọ́lọ́run kì í ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lọ́dá.
nísìnyí tí nǹkan tí yóò bá kí ń jẹ tó bá lóun ń jẹ ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ni nǹkan tí mi ń jẹ lèmi ń jẹ.
orúkọ tó wù yín lẹ̀ jẹun.
Ọlọ́run àgbáyé lèmi ń jẹ.
orúkọ tó wù yín lẹ̀ jẹ.
orúkọ tó wù mí kọ́ ni mo ń jẹ orúkọ tí mò ń jẹ gangan láti ayé báyé kí wọ́n tó dá ayé àtọ̀run òun náà mò ń jẹ́ dọ̀la. kò sí nǹkan tó lè yí padà lẹ́yìn mi pé mi ò jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ mọ́ yẹn kò sí nǹkan tó lè yí padà.
kò sí ẹni tó fẹ́ ní kẹ́ ẹ yí padà orúkọ tó wù yín là jẹ́ lẹ́yìn òdi.
èmi ò gbẹ́yìn òdi o inú nǹkan ilé iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ mi tí mo mọ ni mo wà ní òsì lẹ́yìn òdi.
ẹ̀yin lọ fọwọ́ ara yín mọ
èmi ni mo fọwọ́ mi mọ ayé mo fọwọ́ mi mọ ọ̀run ni mo lè fọwọ́ mi mọ gbogbo ọ̀run tó wà ń bẹ̀ tí ọba ń sọ orílẹ̀ èdè tí ó kò bá rí bẹ̀ ọmọ ìkéré ló máa pàjẹ́.
Ọlọ́run
ẹ ò.
tí gbogbo ń tẹ̀ ń sọ yìí èmi nígbà wọ́pọ̀ lọ́wọ́ ojú àwọ̀ ẹ̀dá àjẹ́ńbẹ́lé ayé òun bẹ́ẹ̀.
èmi náà hùwà mi ò hùwà ọmọ ẹ̀dá mi ò ṣe nǹkan láburú rí.
láburú rí.
mi ì ṣe rí. mi ò hùwà ibi rí tí n bá wù mí ní jẹ́kẹ́ wọlé mi ò hùwà ibi rí nǹkan tí mo rọra mi ni mò ń ṣe.
ìṣe tọ́lọ́run rẹ̀.
nǹkan tí èmi náà lọ́rùn tí mo rọra mi níṣẹ́.
pé gbogbo ohun tẹ́ ò ń ṣe yìí gan lè ń ṣe fúnra yín.
èmi gan ni mò ń ṣe fúnra mi.
kò sọ́lọ́run mi kankan bì kan.
èmi kan iṣẹ́ náà ni mo jókòó yìí kò sí èmi bì kan èmi gangan ni mo jókòó yìí.
ẹni tó bá ń wò yóò ní rò pé bóyá àbí ń tẹ̀ ń sọ ẹ̀ mọ́.
orí mi pé ní òyà wèrè ní ìdẹ̀sìn ibi tó máa ìjẹta ẹni tó máa fẹ́ ṣe research kó lọ ṣe research.
bó wọ́n ti bẹ̀rẹ̀ research yẹn.
onídìí ti lè bẹ̀rẹ̀ research bójá ilé aláàfà mo wà ń bẹ̀ bójá ilé wòlíì mo wà ń bẹ̀ bójá pé kí n dá pẹ̀lẹ́ kalẹ̀ mo wà ń bẹ̀.
ẹ sọ nìkan pàtó nú àwọn alálàáfà àti
mi ò mọ ẹnìkan
tó lè sọ wípé Ọlọ́run ní lóòótọ́.
àkọ́ tó bá ti wá ṣèmi wọ́n ní pé wẹ́ẹ̀dì ohun gbogbo dájú omi tó ṣe òdodo.
ọ̀dẹ̀ ìjà kì í ti Ọlọ́run èmi mọ Ọlọ́run kan ṣoṣo tèmi mọ̀ ló wà nínú
ó ti tàn nílẹ̀ fi gbogbo yẹn lẹ̀.
ẹ̀já filẹ̀ nítorí ká wá ní ọ̀rọ̀ ọmọ kan tí wọ́n ní ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ṣaláìsí lọ́dọ̀
bọ́sẹ̀.
wọ́n bọ́sẹ̀ lórúkọ ẹ̀ wọ́n lọ́dọ̀ ní ló ń gbé. níta àti gbọ́ ló jẹ́ ká wá ló jẹ́ ká la ṣe wáyé.
ẹ̀mí náà wà.
àlùbàbà ilé náà mo ṣe ní pé tó gbogbo nǹkan tẹ́ wáyé pé jàǹjà tó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ lò kó tó di pé àyà ẹ̀ sórí mú màwòrán. kí ni tó ṣẹlẹ̀ pẹ̀lú kú bọ́sẹ̀?
ẹ̀mí náà ló ti ní sọ́wọ́.
bó ṣe wà ní.
Actually, what really brought Malika Abba to limelight was a criminal case filed against her. A 21-year-old girl named Bosede Olaniyi had died in Malika's home under very questionable circumstances. The girl was adopted by Malika Abba when she was just 12 years old. Malika Abba claimed she knew the mother of the child on a mountain where they prayed but did not really know of the father. She adopted the girl in 1997 and the girl was with her until around 2005 when she died all of a sudden and swiftly buried at the Matori cemetery on the orders of Malika Abba, who said she was in a service when they called her and told her of Bose's death. Malika Abba later confessed that she used to do what she called spiritual surgeries for her followers to evacuate the dirtiness in their stomach. She had initially claimed that Bose died after complaining of malaria. Following the outcry from the public, the corpse of the late Bose was exhumed few weeks after her burial and taken to the military hospital at Awolowo Road in Ikoyi, Lagos, where forensic pathologists said they noticed an accumulation of bacteria around her heart and that under her elbow was a gaping hole of an injection. Malika Abba later stated that it is true. That means that she used to inject her followers when it was time for the spiritual surgery. What she injected them with cannot be ascertained as at the time of filing this report. Malika Abba was arrested and detained at the Police Criminal Investigation Department CID headquarters in Panti, Lagos, where she made all her confessions. But at the moment, the case died out and she was freed due to her influence and clout. Kola Olawunmi himself said he had to turn down the heat on the matter because if he pressed on with it, she would have been charged with murder and would most likely go to jail or even worse. So he let the case die a natural death, and many people never heard of Malika Abba again. Kola Olawunmi later died and his very resourceful investigative journalism platform faded away. But my interest in the case never waned at any point, as I always wondered what became of Malika Abba and her worshippers who bowed before her with unflinching surrender. Her commands were followed without an atom of questioning. She had total control and think she still does. If you arrive late at her services, you will be flogged. If you talk to someone else while she's preaching, you will be flogged. And if you make the mistake of dozing or sleeping off while she's giving her sermon, that will be an extra dose of flogging. Her nickname, Malika Abba, can be translated to mean the most senior angel, the most powerful angel, the mysterious angel. She said to burn money offering from her members if the sum is not sufficient enough. On Fridays, she blocked the entire street for her prayers and procession. Malika Abba is addressed as Baba, meaning the father. She claims to be a man and a woman all wrapped into one, and you cannot enter her presence with your shoes on, for her area has been declared holy. She claimed that the name Baba was given to her by some Islamic clerics who checked and did their research and knew that she was indeed the real deal. She used to have a church / mosque at Alafia Street in Mushin, Lagos, where she worshipped as Christian on Sunday and as Muslims on Friday. She would spread mats from the beginning of Alafia Junction to Cameroon Street. During Easter period, her husband will ride on a horse like it is written in the Bible. Malika Abba is widely feared, especially by those in her neighborhood. Some of those who lived on her streets are still terrified of her despite leaving the area over a decade ago. They all talks of how Malika Abba was fond of snatching the husbands of various women in the area. Although Malika Abba claimed to be married, as at the time Kola Olawuni interviewed her, she made it clear that she loves sex and cannot ignore it. She said that she came to this world from her celestial abode to do faji, that is to enjoy. She's accused of buying men to have sex with her, while another allegation is that she turned the male members of her congregation into her sex slave. Her church has been described as a den of death, where worshippers died under very questionable circumstances, but are hurriedly buried. If worshippers contribute their offerings during service, and it's made up of mostly small denominations, she's known to burn the entire cash. Malika Abba said she decided to come down to earth because the complaints lodged by human beings to her in heaven were just too much. Therefore, she decided to descend and see things for herself. But the question still remains: why did she choose Nigeria? Why she chose Nigeria is what I don't understand.